Okay, we have a swirling pig controversy. The Geico bestial pig we'll come back to. Try to clear that up. Yeah, in just a couple of minutes. And also the nasty pink driver's licenses. Try to get to that next hour. I have just retweeted on the big CLUBLAMA.
Lama!
The great big worldwide Twitter where we hang out, where the show goes on forever and the party never ends. And Angela, I'll ask you to pick it up from Twitter and put it out on WBT Facebook. We put this out a couple of times last week, too, after Bo Becky, one of you clubsters, brought it to our attention. It's linked to a petition on that whitehouse.gov site to demote, I guess for lack of a better word, demote this new Distinguished Warfare Medal for the drone operators that ranks above the Bronze Star for Valor that we've been talking about for the last few weeks. Quite an absurdity, quite a swirling thing. And there is a petition now. I mentioned this to you last week. There's a petition to try to get some attention and start something going from the grassroots level and right this ridiculous wrong. And the guy who's behind the petition, we have on the telephone with us now. As far as I know, this is a guy. This isn't like an activist or a thing or a deal or something. This is just a guy like any of us from Texas, I think, who was upset about this, evidently, as a lot of us have been, and he decided to try to go a little further, do something about it. His name is John Evans, and he's on the telephone with us now. Mr. Evans?
Good morning.
Hey, good morning. Welcome to News Talk 1110 WBT.
Thanks.
Here, booming on the 50,000 watts in the Carolinas and all around the planet, on the internet and all. What, you are, your name's on the thing, so you got this petition fired up on the whitehouse.gov.
Right.
How did you, why did you do that? How did you come to do this?
Well, it actually came to my attention. I was fortunate enough from 89 to 93 to serve with probably the greatest combat engineer battalion to ever exist, a unit called the 317th Engineer Battalion out of Eschborn, Germany. And we have a group on Facebook, a bunch of us that still can't stay in contact. And one of my buddies there, a guy we nicknamed Peabody, he had posted a link to it, to the article about this coming out. And, I mean, naturally for us, it really didn't sit well. And so I sat there, I read it, and I kind of got stewed up about it, and just decided, it may not mean nothing, but I'm going to go out and create a petition and at least have my voice out there on it. And I may be the only signature, but that's fine. To me, I feel like silence is acceptance of it. So I just couldn't do that, and I just couldn't remain silent. And generally, there's not much you can do in a situation like that. I mean, other than just yell and scream. And so I figured, well, if I'm going to do that, I'm going to do it on the White House website, and we'll see where it goes from there. And it requires 150 signatures for it to become actually public, so you kind of got to do the legwork to get 150 people to actually sign on before the public could even have access to it. So I posted it, or I created it, and then signed it, of course, because I was the creator of it. And then I just emailed out to some of my buddies and friends and stuff and said, hey, look, I'm really troubled by this, and so I put this out there. I'd appreciate your support on it. Unfortunately, got enough people to make it public. And I guess at that time was probably good timing because everybody was still in that news cycle of, okay, this is bothering veterans. And, of course, VFW came out against it and several other veteran groups. And it kind of started a buzz. And next thing I know, it's getting picked up by various publications and national news and stuff like that, and that kind of helped us get to where we are now. But unfortunately, the White House had created a pretty high threshold. Once they realized that 25,000, they would have to respond to a lot of things. So now I'm just trying to get the word out to everybody I can, because I know there's a lot of people that will be bothered by it, but they won't take the action. Well, if the action doesn't get taken, then we never cross that threshold. And
how many?
There's a lot of listeners that you have that probably have done that in themselves. They've listened. They're bothered by it, but they won't actually probably sign it. And I'm hoping this might encourage them to do so.
Well, sure, I would encourage them, John. This is John Evans. He's the guy behind the petition on the WhiteHouse.gov. Now, this is a thing that we've talked about from time to time when there's been something that has gotten some attention. The White House, they started this thing. You can petition the White House and do an online petition. And if it gets X number of signatures, then the White House says that they will respond to it. Now, what their response is, whatever, they don't make any promises about that. Maybe this is kind of a, just a cheap, trashy, gimmicky kind of a thing. But you know what? It's out there, and it in this case, I mean, it can serve as a vehicle, kind of a coalescing point for some of people's upset and swirl. And you know what? It causes it to get talked about more, and maybe it will just cause the White House or the President or the Defense Department, somebody, to have to speak more about this. So it's out there. Again, I've retweeted it out on CLUBLAMA. If you join us on Twitter, you can get it there. Angela's putting it up on WBT Facebook. We'll have it up on the Larson page at WBT.com, so you can get it anywhere. John, have you done anything like this before? I mean, gone out and chained yourself to a tree in a park or anything like that? Or
no. See, all this is totally out of my normal character. Most people who know me know that I'm a very reserved kind of person. I will admit that I am politically knowledgeable. I stay up on political stuff and stuff, and people who are friends with me know my views on things, but that's about as far as I ever go. I'm not the type to do this, and even this talking to a radio station is kind of out of my character, generally. I
mean, let's be honest. You were a little reluctant or nervous, and I'm not saying that to thwack you in any way. But I mean, this isn't your thing. It's not exactly what you're after, and so we kind of tried to prevail upon you to talk about this with us so that we could help publicize the petition a little bit.
You're correct there, because when you initially contacted me, I was like, and actually I went on Facebook and I emailed a few of my buddies who are more outspoken people and said, any chance y'all would be interested in doing this? Because it's just not me. And unfortunately, they all said, buddy, this is your thing. You need to grab it. And I was reluctant for a while, but I started realizing, like I said, the news cycle changes, and of course, sequester is the big thing right now, and this is going to fade. And if I'm not willing to come out and actually speak to it with you guys or anyone else that wants to listen, then it will fade. But kind of going to your comment about what the response will be and stuff like that from the White House, I agree that as anyone that deals with politics knows, there's always a clever way of responding without actually responding. But I think my thing on that is I want to make them do that. I mean, the easy thing is for this thing to die about 50,000 signatures, and guess what? They don't even have to put it on the radar. But if we can get over that 100,000, don't think that the media will. And I've talked to a couple of newspaper people that say we're going to keep an eye on this story and stuff like that. If it hits that 100,000 threshold, this thing goes back up in the news, and they say, okay, everybody, the media is going to be sitting there waiting for a response on it. So that's kind of my mindset on it is, and if their response is not satisfactory, then I will make a stink about that.
Well, yeah, because they may, sometimes they make a clever response to these kind of things. Sometimes it's a blow-off. But you know what? On this issue, if they try to pull the clever blow-off, I think that'll blow up in their face even more.
Well, and the truth is, the media attention, and I've got one of my buddies who actually deals with public affairs type of stuff now, and he had made a comment to me that don't think that what you have been doing has not had an effect, and that is why the DOD released another statement standing behind where they placed this medal, because they saw the uprising on this, and they're trying to tamp it back down. And when the DOD put this out, they keep saying that this does not rank above a Bronze Star, but I'm just going to look at the facts. And yes, where they place it below the Distinguished Flying Cross, and in between that and the Soldier's Medal. Okay, and then below that is the Bronze Star,
right? And
then the Purple Heart. Well, with these awards in the military, for those who are not familiar, that's a promotional factor. The awards that you receive, and if they're placing it in between the Distinguished Flying Cross and the Bronze and the Soldier's Medal, and I'm not fully up on the actual points today, but I think that anything above a Soldier's Medal is 40 promotion points. A Bronze Star with Valor Device on it is a 35-point promotional thing. The Purple Heart is a 30-point promotional mark.
I didn't even realize that about the promotional
right. So
points.
This stuff that they're saying, I mean, it's a lie. I mean, it's a flat-out lie. I will call Panetta a liar because he is. Because if you look at the points, it does matter.
Well, he's done this, and he's going to be running out as soon as they can get Chuck Hagel approved. This is John Evans. He's a guy, he's a veteran, he's a guy from Texas who started this petition, whitehouse.gov. We have it all over our Twitter and Facebook and Larson page so that you can get it there to register displeasure with the White House about this. John, before I let you go, I do appreciate you being here. I know you're not accustomed to being a big-time media spokes guy, but you're right. This is your petition. I'm glad you took the action. I'm glad you're talking about it with us. You need how many signatures, and how many do you have?
Right now, we're sitting just above 14,000. This weekend was very slow. We've probably got less than 1,000, just because, again, the news cycle is kind of changing things on us. But it requires 100,000, and we got till March 16th to get it. And I just plead with everybody. I mean, if you're listening and you kind of care about it, but think, well, it's not going to matter. What will make it not matter is not getting that signature. One less signature from your listeners is one more that we have to find somewhere else.
John, maybe we'll check with you a little further down the line, and I'll say again, and I'll repeat this in just a second after I check traffic, but we have your link up to the petition on all of our typical places here at WBT, just to make it easier. So, John Evans, good luck. I appreciate what you've done. I think a lot of other people do too, and we'll try to get you some signatures out of the Carolinas and beyond today. I appreciate you talking with us.
All right, Keith. I appreciate you bringing some attention to this.
All right. Thanks a bunch. John Evans from Texas.